consider yourself to be serious, that it will not appear anywhere.
Katherine Heigl is speaking out against her Grey's Anatomy co-star, Isaiah Washington, during this Golden Globes press conference about an on-set incident with fellow cast member T.R. Knight.
No, I did not call T.R. Never happened.
They're gonna call you the B word because you're a woman who won't lay down and take that foolishness. Some beautiful words. And she said, Monique, I'm gonna tell you right now, baby, they're gonna consider you difficult.
Isaiah Washington. Grey's Anatomy has had its fair share of drama over the years, both on and off screen. One of the most scandalous departures from the show was that of Isaiah Washington, who played the beloved Dr. Preston Burke. The actor's sudden exit in 2007 came amid controversy and led to a public feud with his former co-stars that continues to this day. At the time, Burke was a fan-favorite character who was in a relationship with Sandra Oh's character, Christina Yang. However, in Season 3, Burke stunned viewers when he left Yang at the altar. This storyline was the catalyst for Washington's departure from the show. But 7 years later, he made a brief return to the series for a few episodes in Season 10. Many fans were conflicted when Washington returned to the show. Some thought it was inappropriate for the writers to bring him back after the scandal that caused his initial departure. But what did he do that was so scandalous? In 2007, reports surfaced that Washington had used a homophobic slur while having an argument with co-star Patrick Dempsey. The actor denied the claim, but it was later revealed that the slur was aimed at co-star T.R. Knight, who later came out as gay. The incident sparked a public outcry, and ABC executives initially said that it wouldn't lead to Washington's termination.
Katherine Heigl is speaking out against her Grey's Anatomy co-star, Isaiah Washington, during this Golden Globes press conference about an on-set incident with fellow cast member T.R. Knight.
No, I did not call T.R. Never happened.
Washington, standing with the show's cast, used a homophobic slur in an effort to set the record straight.
However, they later decided not to renew his contract and wrote his character out of the show. Despite the backlash, Washington attempted to make amends. He issued a public apology and even filmed a PSA for GLAAD, an LGBTQ+ advocacy group.
Following Washington's outburst, the cast appeared shell-shocked and uncomfortable, especially Knight. I'm sorry, that did not need to be said. I'm not okay with it. Later, Heigl had this to say. I'm going to be really honest right now. He needs to just not speak in public, period.
He also offered to resign and sit down for an interview with Diane Sawyer to tell his side of the story. But his efforts were not enough to save his job on Grey's Anatomy.
When asked about Washington's remarks, Knight said, quote, Washington referred to me as a blank. Everyone heard it. Meantime, Knight is shocked by Washington's denial. Knight went on to say that Washington's homophobic slur forced him to publicly admit that he's gay.
Washington was saddened by the outcome, stating that he did everything the producers and network asked of him. He returned to the show under great stress and pressure, believing he was doing his job as an actor. However, the network and studio had a different vision for his future on the show. In conclusion, Isaiah Washington's departure from Grey's Anatomy was a significant moment for the show's history. Although he made a brief return to the series, his actions on set and subsequent departure caused a public scandal that led to his termination. Despite his efforts to make amends, the damage was already done and his legacy on the show remains controversial to this day. Monique. Monique, who won the Best Supporting Actress Oscar in 2009 for her role in Precious, has opened up about the aftermath of the film's contentious awards campaign. According to her, she has been labeled difficult by the movie's high-profile producers, which has affected her career in Hollywood.
Monique is here too, and so we're going to chat about the movie. It's very good to see.
Roseanne Barr is my sister in comedy, and she's my universal sister. And what I won't do, Sam, is throw her away.
Couple things we got to ask you about.
Yes.
You know, we talked about this before the light went on. You have a thought about the whole thing with Roseanne?
I do. I really do. For making a mistake. We've all said and done things, baby, that we wish we could take back and swallow and say, oh.
Monique claims that her troubles began when she declined to promote the film for free at the Cannes Film Festival, despite director Lee Daniels and producers Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey's advice. She recalls telling Winfrey that she had a talk show, a comedy tour, a husband and babies, and she intended to use her downtime to rest. They agreed to disagree, and that was the end of it. However, Monique claims that she was then considered difficult and hard to work with.
I remember when I had the Monique show, and there were big, major black superstar talent. But when you're in the public eye, you can't, and it's out there. But to put the title of racist on her, I can only share my experience with Roseanne. But there was a white woman named Roseanne Barr that showed up for me when people that looked like me, that had white representatives, and they told their talent, that show is too black, and we really don't want you to go on there. Now, I want to thank all the talent that came on the Monique show, because there were some beautiful people that sat on that couch.
Monique's situation worsened when she didn't thank Daniels during her acceptance speech at the Oscars, which led to a 13-year feud during which the actor alleged that he had blackballed her from the industry. According to Monique, she felt the same injustices and inequalities that all the black women who came before her felt. However, she was often called angry, bitter, or unstable, instead of acknowledging the reality of the situation. Monique has since reconciled with Lee Daniels, but she claims that the producers of Precious still label her difficult. Despite the obstacles, Monique continues to speak out about the injustices she has faced and remains a powerful advocate for change in the industry. Monique, an Oscar-winning actress and comedian, filed a lawsuit against Netflix, accusing the streaming giant of gender and racial discrimination. The lawsuit claims that the company offered Monique a biased, discriminatory deal for a one-hour comedy special in November 2017. According to the 39-page filing, the offer was significantly lower than those given to other male and white female comedians for similar original specials.
They're going to call you the B word because you're a woman who won't lay down and take that foolishness. Some beautiful words. And she said, Monique, I'm going to tell you right now, baby, they're going to consider you difficult. So what I would ask is, yes, my sister made a mistake. And she said something that I know she wished she could take back.
Monique is seeking unspecified damages and has called out top executives of the Netflix management team for their lack of diversity and the gender wage gap in Hollywood. Despite Monique's extensive resume and documented history of comedic success, when Netflix presented her with an offer of employment for an exclusive stand-up comedy special, Netflix made a lowball offer that was only a fraction of what Netflix paid other non-black female comedians, the lawsuit stated. The lawsuit claims that Netflix's lack of diversity in leadership led to the perpetuation of a wage gap, which unfairly targets black women in America's workforce. The suit alleged that Netflix signed multi-million-dollar deals with male comedians such as Jerry Seinfeld, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, and Ricky Gervais. In contrast, the offer made to Monique was 40 times less per show than what was offered to Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. In response to the lawsuit, Netflix has said that it believes its opening offer to Monique was fair and that they will challenge the suit. The streaming giant also stated that they take accusations of discrimination very seriously. Monique posed a statement on Instagram, saying that she had to choose between accepting the pay discrimination or standing up for those who came before her and those who would come after her. She chose to stand up. Despite the challenges she faces, Monique remains a powerful voice for change in the entertainment industry. Lisa Bonet. Lisa Bonet, known for her roles in popular shows such as The Cosby Show and A Different World, has largely stayed out of the spotlight in recent years. However, her personal life remains a topic of interest for the media and the public alike. Despite the drama surrounding her recent separation from her husband, Jason Momoa, Bonet seems to be at peace with herself, exuding confidence and grace whenever she's caught on camera in public. But the fact that Bonet seems so comfortable in her own skin is all the more impressive when you consider what she went through during her childhood. In a profile published by The Washington Post back in 1987, Bonet opened up about her upbringing, revealing that her parents divorced when she was just 13 months old. She was then raised by her white Jewish mother in a predominantly white neighborhood, which left her feeling like an outsider. Bonet faced rejection from both the white and black communities she encountered during her childhood. She stopped attending temple because she couldn't stand the way people stared at her, and she was called names like Oreo by her black peers. Even at school, where she was surrounded by white kids, Bonet didn't feel accepted. As a result, Bonet experienced an identity crisis during her formative years. She begged her mother to have another child so that she wouldn't feel so alone. However, when The Cosby Show became a hit, Bonet finally found a sense of acceptance among her fans. Her character, Denise Huxtable, brought an inner strength to the show that made her seem formidable, and Bonet quickly became a beloved figure in popular culture. Despite her newfound success, Bonet faced challenges on the set of The Cosby Show. Bill Cosby, who was in charge of the show, had a reputation for being harsh and controlling with his young co-stars. Bonet refused to be controlled by Cosby, who she has said carried himself with a sinister energy. Although Cosby has since been exposed as a serial sexual predator, at the time he did everything he could.
There's no response. No, we don't answer that.
Okay. I just wanted to ask if you wanted to respond at all about whether any of that was true. It was a little nerve-wracking to pose this question to him. I'll admit
I
that.
think if you want to consider yourself to be serious,
The persona that people know about Bill Cosby, should they believe anything differently about what?
there is no comment that it will not appear anywhere.
We took a look again at our interview, the full tape,
If it was scuttled.
and we felt like it was much more relevant now because the story had evolved so much.
And I would appreciate it.
to force those around him to live up to his moral expectations. Karen Parsons. Karen Parsons is a name that might not immediately ring a bell for some, but for others she will forever be remembered as Hilary Banks, the eldest sibling on the 90s sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. In her portrayal of Hilary, Parsons embodied the epitome of shallow consumerism, living a life of unbridled confidence in the excesses of Rodeo Drive. But when the show ended, Parsons found herself struggling to be recognized by casting directors, who often had no idea who she was or what Fresh Prince was all about. Growing up in Santa Monica, Parsons had a modest upbringing that was a far cry from the opulent world of Bel-Air. Despite living just 8 miles away from the show's setting, Parsons' family moved around various little apartments in the hippie-ish Santa Monica area. Her mother worked as a deputy sheriff, a bra and swimsuit model, and later a librarian, while her father was mostly absent from her life. Parsons identifies as biracial, and while she did experience racism, she credits her free-to-be, you-and-me upbringing for helping her feel comfortable in her own skin. Despite her initial struggles post-Fresh Prince, Parsons has since gone on to become an advocate for social justice issues, an author, and a possible reboot of the hit show that made her famous. Her journey from the world of shallow consumerism to that of advocacy is a testament to her growth as a person and her desire to use her platform for good. Karen Parsons' passion for acting was evident even in her teenage years. However, a minor incident in high school threatened to derail her aspirations. In 9th grade, she found herself banned from her school's theater program. The reason? One of her friends had cheated off another's paper. Despite being innocent, Parsons suffered the same punishment as her friends. Looking back, she finds it hard to believe that such a harsh punishment was meted out for such a minor infraction. After facing limited acting opportunities as a black actress in Hollywood, Karen Parsons shifted her focus to writing and producing. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.